Okay, I'm going to do a video on how to get through the comic convention with the most efficient, in the most efficient way possible. I've just come back from the Baltimore ComicCon. Had a fantastic time, very well organised event. Not perfect, but very, very few cons are. But more about, yeah, just more about making the most of your time, because you might be going there for, I was there for all three, and I've still got things to learn. That's why I thought I'd do this video to kind of kind of teach me a lesson as well, maybe. And I've just dug these out just to show you quickly about my experience. Like, why should I listen to you? Well, listen, look at that. 1985. UK Comic Art Convention, they used to be called, held in London every year, because look, I went back there next year, 1986. I'm going to flick through these as well, because these convention booklets, there I was again, these convention booklets have got a lot of unusual, like sketch, just stuff that artists would have done, just for the joy of being at the convention, etc., etc. It was in a different age. So that's 85, 86, 87. The same year, 87, I went to Conspiracy. This was a big science fiction. This was a massive one. I think that was a 3-dayer. Oh, 27th of August to the 1st of September. That was a massive one. Brian Aldiss was there, and anyway, I won't go, because let's keep it to the comics. There we go. UCAC 88, I was there. UCAC 89. Now, I know these are only British ones, but obviously, you know, you need a load of dough to travel from the UK to... For some reason, I've skipped a few years. There we go. Perhaps I was busy at work. I don't know. Perhaps I was getting married and stuff, maybe. Trying to lead a normal life without these comics. Didn't succeed. 94, look. So I'm just trying to show you just quickly. I've got a lot of experience going to these events. Now, this is the big boy, isn't it? San Diego Comic-Con 2016. Went there with my son. Had a fantastic time. That's the mother of all conventions. Lasts for a week. And there's my little pass for the Baltimore convention. So there are my credentials. I'll do a little scroll with my little theme tune, and afterwards we'll get into it. And then after my end scroll, if you like that and you're intrigued by these, or if you're just intrigued by these and you don't want to hear me waffle, I'm going to have a little leaf through them and show off some of the artwork after the scroll, so it won't interfere with you. If you want to listen to me waffle and think, make the best of your convention experience, and hopefully I'll help someone along the way. Let me know if I do in the comments, and please at the end like the video if you do. It really does help me out, and subscribe as well. Really does help me out, and let me know what you think, because it can be a lonely old business in front of the camera when you're not getting any comments and no likes. So you might be getting a few views and blah blah. Anyway, you can imagine, can't you? So I won't get me violin out anymore. Please join me after the scroll. Bonjour. So the main thing when you're going to a comic convention, and this does apply to whether you're there for 1, 2 or 3 days, what is time is the one key major factor, is time. But when you think that's obvious, that you've only got a limited amount, you've got a limited amount of time, whether you're there for a day or not, whether you're there for 2, whether you're there for 3. It's open from 10 till 5, for argument's sake. Right, I've got 7 hours. Sounds like a lot of time, doesn't it? 7 hours. But if you don't plan your time, so I mean, cosplay is a separate thing. Unless you're a cosplayer, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be part of the fun or anything like that, but that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about comic collectors, and you want to get some signatures. You might just want to collect back issues, a little bit of both. So it is planning your time. Now this will involve, I think, turning up early. Whether you're there on the first day I got at the latest con I've done, let's use that as my example, I got there easily an hour earlier than the event opened. Why? To get registered. I'd booked my tickets in advance, which is another thing I recommend you do, because then you haven't got the faff of the separate queue. Doesn't cost you any more money, and you can have a little think about what day, and if you can, book in advance and get there early on that first day or the day you're going to register to get your passes and if you've booked in for anything extra that you've got to get a ticket for, and etc. etc. Give yourself an hour, and you'll be in the front of that queue because there'll be a load of other people there to get registered. But then you're in the front when those doors open on the event at, let's just say for argument's sake, 10 o'clock. If you've got there for 9 o'clock, you've had an hour to get the faff out of the way, and they will want you there earlier. They do not want everyone bundling in at the time they say the doors open, trying to get your tickets they do prefer that. They are set up. These conventions, if they're well organised, which most of them are now, will be set up for people to be drifting in. Yeah, go and stand over there. Wait, that's exactly how it happened in Baltimore. Stand over there if you've got your tickets. Stand over there if you're just here to register, as in, you've prepaid your tickets and blah blah. Because then you can get in front of the real queue. Now, this VIP part, the second thing, these VIP passes, think long and hard and try and find out as much as you can about the event, because these can be a bit of a waste of time and money. This one got me in half hour early than anyone else. Now, unless you get there an hour and a half earlier to get this, on the first day it doesn't really apply. And most of the signings that they do now, if you're going there for signature hunting, the big boys there'll be certain times for them, and you'll have to buy a ticket. Like I had to for Frank the Frank Miller. That was the silver pass. So he turns up on a day. Let me just explain. So he turned up on the Saturday, and if you had the gold ticket, it entitled you to a certain amount of signatures and a lithograph, I think. I forget how many signatures, but you get the drift. But he turned up at 10:30 in the morning, only for gold pass holders. So if you're hunting for signatures, you couldn't turn up at this convention. You could get Jim Starlin had a booth, Garth Ennis had a booth, Alan Davis had a booth, amongst many, many, many other artists. But you're going to have to queue for them as well. So if you're signature hunting, like I say, that is fine. Looking for, your favourite artist or writer is there. Brilliant. Get the signatures out of the way first. If you haven't booked these ones, get the signatures out of the way first. So this VIP pass, if it's going to get you in half hour early and you are doing some good signature hunting, then it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile. To be honest, it isn't worthwhile if you are just literally there back issue hunting, which is predominantly why I'm there. If I'm honest, I do gather up the odd signature here and there. If like Jim Starlin, I was never going to go to a convention that Jim Starlin is attending without getting his autograph. Simple as that. Create with Thanos, co-create with Thanos, and I've got a print and I've got him to sign it of Thanos. Job done. But my main priority that I focused on was back issues. And he wasn't, because he was there all weekend, Jim Starlin, and he isn't the big name he used to be back in the day when he was doing Infinity Gauntlet or Dreadstar, whatever. There wasn't queues. You would get the odd queue, for the odd other ones. But anyway, I won't go into that because this is about, I'll stay on tracks. So, yeah, the VIP pass, if you are doing some major signature hunting, get your VIP pass, get in an hour, half an hour before all the other mugs, but then go for your major name. So if there was a Frank Miller there that wasn't doing these gold and silver passes, which means they're there at certain times for these pass holders and then they go. If you're just there for, let's call them the normal creators, there are still going to be queues. Just have a little think about, who is there, or when you get in there half hour early, have that quick shufty round. You'll have the map of where they all are in their booths. See where the longest queue is and get that one out of the way. Get that one out of the way. The other way round is thinking that queue is going to die down, so I don't have to get there early. Don't do that, because I did that with Frank Miller. I did this with Frank Miller because I thought I had a pass. So I thought, why should I queue here an hour with all the other mugs when I can go over to the pub, have a couple of gin and tonics, and come back when that queue's died down, and I wave me pass and he signs. But well, do you know what? He stopped signing halfway through because I believe because of ill health. We did get a refund, blah blah. But it just went wrong, and he has been ill, and that's one of those things. Did really tick a lot of people off. I'll be honest. I was there for him to sign my yearbook because I've got behind my ear. I mean, there's a massive, actually, literally where my finger is the Dark Knight Returns, the slipcase editions, Daredevils, and all that, and they're all signed and limited and blah blahs. And I wasn't going to carry them all the way over to America and carry them all the way back. And I've got the signatures anyway. So, get registered nice and early. If you are there for more than one day, get a VIP pass if you're signature hunting. I think if you're just back issue hunting, if you're just on the hunt for comics and you're there with your boxes and you're going to fill them up and you're there for runs of stuff, no, I don't think it's worth it. Don't think, unless you really are after one of the most hottest comics in the world and only one dealer's got one copy and you think someone else might get it. I can't think of, what half an hour advantage, what advantage that brings to a back issue collector, in my experience anyway. Just pay the normal bog standard price, but register early, and then you can make the most of your time. Now, that's just signature stuff out of the way. Now, the same applies with with the getting there early and planning, with the signature people. Get those popular ones out of the way first, because they're the ones that are going to eat up in your time. And don't think, I'll get there and drift around. Before you know it, your day's gone. Your day is gone. Or the creator's gone for his dinner break and then he's had a couple of beers and met a friend and he hasn't come back to the table, and you've got a person sitting there saying, well, I don't know what time he's going to be back. And you've got to get a train home. So you see what I'm getting at. Back issues, if you're there for the comic hunt, which is what these places were set up to do, and I know it's all multimedia events now. Baltimore, not so much, was very comic-centric, which I loved. Nevertheless, you have still got to prioritise, because us collectors, let's face it, we collect a lot of stuff. And if you're like me, and you've got a gap here and a gap there, or you've started collecting, like me, I've started collecting the Marvel horror stuff, as well as, filling gaps in my X-Men run. I got this recently. Look, nice. I got the Dazzlers. I've started getting a run of Dazzlers because they were so cheap when I was in the States. I wanted them. I did have them. I bought them when they come out that was 1980s. I think Dazzler was 82. But like I say, when I had the shops, I put a lot of my collection in, so I want stuff back. A lot of it ain't there, you just don't see it. So when I saw the Dazzlers, they're all around me here, all the stuff I picked up from Baltimore. Anyway, back on the chat again. I think you need to, I know you need to, this is for back issue collectors specifically, you need to prioritise what you're hunting for. Because some of these bigger conventions, I'll tell you what, once you start rifling through the first box of the first dealer, that you think, you see the spread behind them, all up on the walls and all that, that time is not ticking away. Especially if you're thinking as well, like we all do, about your bit of dough and how far it's going to go. You do want to compare, especially for some big books, you do want to, and again, that's where you can make a note. Like, say, for argument's sake, I was looking for a friend, I was looking for X-Men 2, the original run, the back in the day X-Men 2. And it was, while I was on my way round, it wasn't a priority. He said, if you can, we had a little deal about how much he was prepared to spend, etc., etc. It ended up that there was only 2 copies there at the convention. But nevertheless, I made a note of the prices. and the conditions. But sometimes you could be after a big book, but half a dozen dealers could have it. And they can all vary. For me, at my age now, I'm not too fussed about the grade. I don't know if that comes with age, but I'm not sure. Thinking back, I don't know if I think because I was buying a lot of this stuff way back, like 40 years ago, the Silver Age stuff didn't seem to be in that poor condition, if you know what I mean, because I was nearer to the Silver Age. I was buying the Bronze Age as it was coming out. So perhaps there's a part of me where I've never really had to think too deeply about condition. Excuse me. But have a little think about what you've got your budget, but have a think about those big books and how much you're prepared to pay. Have a look at the guide. Make sure these people, and I don't generally come across any rip-off merchants in, the comic book community in England and America. I've found varies a little bit, but I think all the rip-off merchants are on the online platforms. To be perfectly honest, I look at some books that are on there sometimes and think, oh wow, they're just chancing their arm to see if some mug's going to come along, and it's not on. But the established dealers, I would say 99. Well, I haven't come across. I was going to say 99%, but I haven't come across the rip-off merchant. Maybe someone's a little bit a dealer's more expensive than another. You're going to get that in any business. But as far as ripping people off, no. So prioritise what you're collecting, what you're on the hunt for. And I would start with the big books because they are the easy ones. What it will do is it will acclimatise you to the dealers' aisles, because you'll have the dealers' aisles, artist alleys, the creators. You'll have all these different bits. So get to know your creators. Get to know your dealers, your back issue dealers area, and then just do the walk down every aisle. Now, I know this might sound straightforward stuff, but I've just shown you how many conventions I've been to. That's just a few, as well as comic marts and etc., etc. And you do get excited. Well, I do. You get overexcited and you hit a dealer that you think, oh my God, and you've looked at something on the wall, and then oh my God, he's got a run of whatever. And you're in the boxes and you're looking at the wall, and oh my God, and then you doze out. Oh, and then it's all gone wrong. Happy wrong. But you know what I'm getting at. You can make so much more of it if just for that first half hour you're a bit more disciplined than I have been in the past. I was disciplined at Baltimore, but I'm long in the tooth now. And at the end of the day, I'm smiling because I'm not saying you have to do these. These are just little bits of words of wisdom, hopefully, that will just help you through, and you'll come out of that convention having rinsed it for all its worth. You might have got all the back issues you want, you've prioritised, and you thought, right, yeah, well, I've got the big books, I've had a leaf through, I've got everything. Do you know what? I might go over to the creators bit and I'll get a couple of signatures while I'm here. Why not? Why not? Just get them to sign your yearbook or whatever. That's all part of the fun. I'll go and have a look at it. But wandering around and ambling about, even when you're there for two and even the 3 days, you can wander. Look, I'm not telling you not to wander around and have a look at the cosplayers, and that's part of all the fun. But you don't want to get to the end of the 1, 2 or 3 days you're there and think, oh no, I didn't do that. You've paid your dough to your ticket, you've paid your dough to travel there, etc., etc. So that prioritising, firstly, big books, and that acclimatises you, and make a note of who's got what, because you will forget. I have. Unless you've got a photographic memory, you aren't going to remember who had the first appearance of Moon Knight, or one of the big books I picked up in Baltimore. I was after the first Man Thing and the first Howard the Duck in what was it, Marvel whatever issue. Oh, sorry. Anyway, but those were two of the about half a dozen big books I was after, and so that was what I did first, to see who firstly had it, and the ones who did have it, how much. Sometimes it ain't on the wall. You've got to ask. or if you think they might have it, or if not, just move on. You know, there was dealers there that just done CGC stuff. I can't be asked. You know, that's not my collecting. And I was just thinking then whether that applies. I'd forgotten about the CGC collecting side of it, but I think that's quite a dry. I think you're just leafing through and looking at numbers, aren't you? So anyway, I can't speak about really. I think maybe this back issue organising is more relevant or is relevant to CGC, but they seem to occupy a very small. It's still very niche, thank God. Anyway, let's get back on them tracks again. I must get a better ticket to keep on these tracks. So prioritising the big books, and then you've acclimatised yourself, you've walked down these aisles, you've looked at all the, major notes. Right. Now, I would suggest, make your mind up, go for a coffee, whatever you're going to do, give yourself 5 minutes, because this is the thing, you get excited. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. You get excited, you've got to a little bit. And with that pause and that thought and that organisation, you will get so much more out of it. I'm not saying you just will. You just will because you've just organised your time. And I know it might sound a bit dry and boring, but it only takes half an hour of thought, doesn't it? When you know the lineup who's there, you're looking at how many dealers are there, and then thinking about right, sitting down, what am I after? What am I collecting? Because you can't get, even if you've got all the dough in the world, you aren't going to get every single comic you want because it just isn't going to be there anyway. So you're going to waste a lot of your time, even though you've got loads of dough. So prioritise the big books, hoover them up, go back round. Now that's going to be quicker. But you've done it. On your way round, you've probably spotted that, he's heavy on DC and I'm collecting Marvel, or he's heavy on Marvel and collecting DC, or that guy's got a load of gold and Silver Age and I'm after Bronze. You're just going to get that thing of it where you've acclimatised yourself. You've got your big books now. Now you can go in to that time-consuming, glorious hunt for that one odd issue that isn't £1 million, but you've been after it. That's when you can start delving into these boxes, and that's when it gets going, doesn't it? Come on, let's face it, we're all excited now. And now, like I say, think about it, you've got all the time in the world now, but you've probably just done an hour and a half. What I've just explained, the size of Baltimore, and I know the American ones are bigger than the UK ones, for comics, that is. I mean, they do anyway. But you're still talking, I reckon you're still talking an hour and a half before you've had a little talk and a chat and a wander and just a look around and spoke to a couple of dealers and they've asked you what you're after and you've asked the prices, you made a note of them, etc. I reckon you're doing an hour and a half, 2 hours into your day. Like I say, and then you can get on with the rummaging. Then it's going to be a bit of lunchtime and you can go and have your sandwich and a cup of tea or whatever, a cup of coffee or beer, fish and chips, whatever you're going to do, because you've taken the sting out of it. This organisation, whether it is for signatures, and you've had to queue up, register, get in early, get in there early doors and get organised. And I know I've really waffled on, but I just thought you may have never been to a convention before and thinking, oh my God, yeah, how do you? Oh, you will be excited, by the way. I would love to hear from someone who has viewed this before they went to the convention. I really would love to see the comments, or even if it didn't help, let me know. I can't see how, to be fair, I'm going to say, controversially. And so, anyway, I hope that helps. I'm going to keep it there because I think I've waffled on enough. And I know I could have summed it up by saying organised, but I think I needed to explain, didn't I? To get that bit of organisation in, but getting in early. And I think when you think about it, you're going to go, oh, well, that's obvious, really. But I'll tell you what, after 30 years of going to these conventions, no. Well, it's taken me 30, 40 years to give you those nuggets. So I really do hope they help, because if you're into your comics, man, you're going to have a good time. The bigger they are, the more excited. I was so excited. I have done videos, by the way, on the stuff I got at the last Baltimore ComicCon, so please hop over to them if you're interested. I only hold up the covers. I haven't done an in-depth like I do with my weekly comic book reviews. So I will leave it there. Like I say, please like, subscribe if you've enjoyed that, and please let me know. I'd love to hear from other comic collectors that have either got that signature, or you've got a collection of your signatures, or your books that you're doing an A to Z, or you're doing all the Marvel writers and artists, because I know we all have those different areas of collecting, and they're all good. They are all good. So hope you have a good time at whatever convention you're going to, or I hope you've just enjoyed this video. Whether you want to agree or disagree, please let me know, comment, and I will bid you adios. So here we go. This is for all the hardcore that have that have sat through my little convention. Look at this, 1985. Here we go. Let's just quickly flick through some of the little bits of artwork. Look at this typeface. Look. Oh, marvelous stuff. Look, Marvel UK. You know, for the UK viewers. And here we go. Nice Brian Talbot Nemesis when he was on 2080 doing that. Look, DC welcomes you to the UK. You know, just for DC to just to contribute. I think it just shows you. You know, it's just a different time. Look at that lovely little piece by Ian Gibson. You know, he's always gonna. Obviously, when he was doing Halo Jones, you know, he'd done a little bit of Dread, but Robo Hunter, and best known for Halo Jones without a doubt. It's just nice for these artists, I think, just to at least. John Ridgway, a little fun fact for you: he drew one of my Commando stories that I had published back in the day. So I loved it, and I was so over the moon. Dave Gibbons, little bit of Rogue Trooper. Look, I don't know why should I be this excited? You know, to see a Kevin O'Neill Batman. Obviously, that was what he was. You know, had made his name at the time, 1985. Hunt Emerson, you know, obviously from the indie or underground, should I say, and Eddie Campbell from the indie stuff. This is nice. But Gary Leach, who passed away, and I did a little tribute to him in one of my videos. You know, that's just an original by Gary Leach, and 9 times out of 10, this was all auctioned off. All this work, just a nice piece there. You know, obviously Alan Davis, Paul Neary. Best known for Captain Britain. Before they look at his schedule of events, oh lovely. Some of the you know, Alan Moore, look, Watchmen preview, Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons and John Higgins, look. All in one. Then you got Stephen Bissett, look, Ian Gibson, look, Mick McMahon, Bill Sinkovich, look. Anyway, I won't dwell too much on, otherwise this will take forever just reminiscing. But I just thought it was interesting just to see some of this, a little bit of some of these pieces of art. You know, these little bits of artwork they did. I mean, I don't know who that is. That must have been an indie. But this is nice from John Higgins. Obviously, Bill Higgins. Sorry, he did the what? No colour. Glenn Fabry, who went on from here, you know, to do all the covers for Preacher. So that was 1985, guys. 1985, and then next year, oh look who's doing a signing at Forbidden Planet. That's when I opened up their second one. Look, used to go there every Saturday with my mates. There we go, nice Brian Talbot, Luther Arkwright. Would have been a couple of years old at the time, but that's a nice Jack Kirby. Wow. Sorry, because I am leafing through these. You know, I haven't kind of prepped anything. And another Alan Davis again. That's nice. New Mutants, I think. Anyway, I don't know who this is on this artwork, but nevertheless, it's just little Ron Smith there. He was always good for the tech stuff. detailed stuff, but never Judge Dredd. Quite a prolific Judge Dredd artist. He's just adverts. Another Ian Gibson, just to make my life easier. Another Ian Gibson doing it landscape rather than portrait. Thank you, Ian. But his artwork's worth it, is it not? Love it, love it. Darker than he would normally do, to be fair. I don't know what kind of mood he, you know, even Halo Jones here. You know, this, a lot of this, look at these little characters that he used to do. I do miss that boy's artwork, I've got to say. Do miss his artwork. I don't know what he's doing now. Someone can let me know. Kevin O'Neill always would contribute. I've always done this list of names if you pre-ordered your tickets, and I'm always in there. I'm always in there. Dogstar, this Mr. Monster. This guy, I don't know who the artist is, but this Mr. Monster stuff I used to get, I just thought it was mad back in the day. Phil Elliott, obviously from the indie scene. I think that's about it really. On that, oh no, look, we've got some laser, eraser and press button artwork. They were from Warrior, the Warrior comic. Spotlight on Barry Windsor Smith, look, and you get one of that. You get some of that, look, Miracle Man. Barry Windsor Smith, just in your UCAC. Kevin, don't know who that is. Hopgood, Kevin Hopgood. Bill Higgins again. On Dredd, they become more. Look at that lovely Bolland there. Look, can't beat a bit of Bolland. Here's old Brendan McCarthy. Look. Oh, in their inimitable style. Another what's it? Who's this? Oh, John Ridgway again. Like I say, I'm going to say it again. Did one of my comics. Put that over there. Right, here's some of the bigger boys from '87. They obviously went a bit bigger with the booklets. Again, Luther Arkwright, Brian Talbot. Nice Mike McMahon. And he signed that Mickey. I don't think I've ever seen him sign like that actually. I've just noticed. Again, you can see how much bigger it's getting now. Literally in the size of the Wasset and the Steve Loyola. I mean, I forget what was it Coyote he did for Eclipse or Pacific back in the day. Bill Higgins again. I just think this is nice. I just think this is just nice stuff. John Bolton, here we go. Brett Ewing's Kano from the Bad Company in 2000 AD. It's quite nice. Gary Leach again. Lou Stringer, obviously big in the underground comic scene. And these, Cam Kennedy, you know, and these were, I mean, I know there's heavy hitters in comics, but these are all guys that I do consider heavy hitters. You know, I know it's kind of British centric, but at least they took their time to do a page of artwork. Another nice Bolland one there, look. And that's Bolland artwork there. Oh, that's Gary Leach actually. I beg your pardon. Advertising for, you know, doing an advert for Eternal Comics. I don't know. I just like seeing this stuff. Like Kevin O'Neill, you know, obviously martial law. When he just brought that out with Pat Mills. I just like seeing it. Tony O'Donnell, I don't know what he did. He's probably in the indie, so I wasn't being indie back in the day. Austin, Mark Austin, I think. Yeah, was it Mark Austin? Done some stuff in Warrior. I think this is nice. Look at that, Dave McKean for UCAC '87. Look, just think it's not. I just think this is good shit when, you know, they just get involved. I really do. Another Slane there, David Pugh. Pew. I had to do that, sorry guys. Look, next year, start off with a bit of Glenn Fabry, love it. Like I say, you know, went on to do the Preacher, all the Preacher covers, Kennock Good, nice Dredd. you know, just nice Dread one-off for the. And sorry, forgive me, I went off on a tangent. You know, another John Ridgway there. I can't turn this one around, otherwise the camera's going to go and everything. So you're just going to have to crane your neck. But they would auction off this artwork. Delano Higgins there. That's nice. Just a nice piece of artwork. Another Dread. Don't know what that is. Like I say, they can't all be the heavy hitter artists, can they? Al Davison, John Watkins. These are obviously Savin Calf by Bob Lynch. Hunt Emerson again. You know, he's obviously massive in the underground comics. So. And he would always turn up. Nice Gary Leach. Look at that lovely artwork for Just Comics. Glenn Fabry. Sorry, I keep getting him and Brian Talbot mixed up. Brian Talbot with Adventures of Luther Arkwright. That was, by the way, recommend that graphic novel, Adventures of Luther Arkwright, if you can get it. Alan Davis with Mark Farmer. Nice Batman Dread. That's nice. Will Simpson, I think that. Yeah, William Simpson, is it? Pronounce his name. That's a nice Dan Dare style. Sorry, a nice style for Dan Dare, I think. Very 60s, like very. That's quite dark, isn't it? And the Shadow comic strip. This is nice. Creeper. Who's that? That's Gary Leach. I like this. That splatter effect on that. To be fair. Obviously Zenith. Oh God, can't think of the artist's name, but you know who it is. You know it's like, that's another nice Dave McKean, isn't it? Look at that. Love it. You know, just a little dedication up there. Hey, John Byrne, She-Hulk, woohoo. There we go. Nice, more Cam Kennedy. Always liked his art style. Cam Kennedy. He could, in just one of those styles, could draw anything. More Kevin Smith. Kevin O'Neill. Haha, the actress in Bishop Moore Bolland. Bolland would do something more or less every year, I think. Brian Hitch. If you like. Oh, look at this. What is that? That ain't Bill Sienkiewicz, is it? Don't know, look like Sienkiewicz. I don't think he is though. I'm sure that's not his signature. You know, I could have spent a lot of time leafing through and researching things and stuff, but that's quite funny. I'd rather go through it just as a little trip down memory lane with anyone who's watching. Next year, here we go, Simon Harrison, who took over from. I mean, his art style is a decent art style, to be fair. I've got nothing against the guy, but when he followed on Carlos Esquerra on after Strontium Dog, I didn't like it at all. I didn't think his style suited it at all. I didn't think, as an editorial decision, that was a good choice. That's a nice Batman. Don't know the signature on that one. Again, all the names, I still do all the names. That's a nice Electra. Hornsby, don't know who that is. Nice Doctor Strange, I don't know if that's Hunt Emerson again. There we go, Alan Davis, DR and Quinch. That was in 2000 AD. Viz. Viz going all out with 3 pages of advertising. More Williams and Delano there. David Pew. Sorry, can't resist. Jim Bakey, who you may know from, I don't know what American artist was known from, but certainly Skiz in 2000 AD, written by Alan Moore. Jim Bakey. It's quite a nice one. Lee Sullivan artwork there. And then there's these smaller ones. I think we're getting more into indie and independent stuff now. Don't know who done that, but yeah, and it's all that. That was another Alan Moore written story. Steve Parkhouse is the artist on that. That much I do know. The Bo Jeffries saga, this was called. I think it was the Bo Jeffries saga from Warrior, because I know he did. Oh, look, a bit of Miracle Man there. Mark Buckingham, who has just recently returned. So this is 1989. That's nice. John Ridgway. Very nice. Love that. Look who it ain't, Simon Bisley. I wonder how much that little beauty went for. Dave Gibbons on Joker. I wonder how much these bad boys went for at the auction, because they would auction off this artwork. This is the idea of it, to pad out your book. And also, then Alan Davis again, as always. Dark Knight Returns, love it. Is that Gary Leach again? These are all nice, but like I say, all auctioned off on, usually on the Sunday, I think. Could be wrong. To raise money. Brian Talbot got his name right, didn't get him wrong this time. More Kevin O'Neill. I mean, I know these are all kind of like the usual suspects, but I just like the fact, you know, they put themselves out and it all gets auctioned off for different charities and stuff. That's nice. I don't know who's done that, but is it Gibbons? No, Gibson. Ian Gibson. Yeah, just by the, yeah. Wow, that's a departure. That's definitely, I've forgotten that. That's certainly a departure for Ian Gibson. Wow. Oh, I wonder where this artwork is now. Love it. That was a Sleaze Brothers, they were called. Marvel UK production. More Zenith. Yeah, I think that. I was never a big, as you can see from the blank page of autographs, I was never a big autograph hunter, to be fair. I was more into the artwork side, the comic side of it. That's nice. Don't know whose signature that is. Nevertheless, 1993, little bit of Spider-Man. Can't go wrong, can you? That's really nice. Don't know whose signature that is. I'm trying to work that out. But I like that. Alan Davis, is that? Oh, Gary Frank. Obviously, while he was working on the Hulk, you know, he had done a long run on the Hulk. Steve Lola again. Paul Grist, done the indie stuff. Wasn't really at this point in my life into a lot of indie stuff, so forgive me for not. But they were just they're just names that you know if you've been hanging around in comics long enough. You know, Phil Elliott. You know, it doesn't mean that they're not any good. It just means that you know, I was just superhero heavy. Frank Quietly. Oh, what was this called? Shiro or something. Oh, Shimura. There he is. All the clues written down there for you. Shimura in Judge Dredd the magazine, when that came out. There was a character in there. Superman there. Al Davison. Anyway, just gives you a little flat. More Ian Gibson. Can't beat it. Chris Weston. He's just great, Ian Gibson, with his artwork, that cartoony style he had. Don't know who that is. I don't know what it is. Or this one. More Brian Talbot there. I'm getting his name right, aren't I? He wasn't the most prolific artist. I mean, he was obviously really well known for the Adventures of Luther Arkwright. He was more underground stuff, to be fair, or stroke indie, whatever you want to call it. Oh, Matt Wagner, I love Mage. I really did, back in the day. Yeah, I think these are This is a Drocking Nightmare. Who's done that one? Pete? Someone. Death, the high cost of copyright. Oh dear. Someone getting political there. Someone getting very political. Hunt Emerson again. Over this side. That's nice, but I don't know, Rick. Don't know. They always did give the list of the artists in the hospital. Like I say, as I'm only just trying to do quick Dread Dwarf. I'm just trying to do as quick as I can this stuff, so I didn't want to, otherwise I literally, this is already probably going on a bit too long, but Showdown Comics, this is probably going on a little bit too long just to leaf through some artwork, but you know, you don't have to hang around, do you? You can click off whenever you want. If you want to stay around for some funny bits and bobs. John Buscema, look at that, lovely. Lovely. Just straight off the bat, Frank Quietly, you're never going to get a bad piece of artwork from him, are you? And he just can't stop the detail, can he? Look at his name more. Just can't stop the detail. Look, even his, you know, the male on Captain America, love it. Love it, big fan of his. Brian Talbot again, done Thor this time round. That's a nice tribute. Whoever's done that to Jack Kirby. And obviously passed away. John Buscema was a guest at the show, that's why we got a sketch from him, which is really nice. Oh, someone else has done one for Jack Kirby there as well. Liam. Nice. Oh, again, Liam Sharp's artwork, I'm a big fan of his. Big fan of his. And the man thing he done superb, and that he's doing Starhenge comic at the moment, which is marvellous for Image. Absolutely marvellous. It's messes with your melon. But yeah, there's quite a few Kirby tributes here, which is really nice. Oh, 10 years of UCAC, so I've been going for most of them, I think, at that point. Because I love the stuff. I should know that signature. Is that Gary Frank? Don't know. Yeah. Not the yeah, these are indie, these are probably indie artists that yeah, that's nice. That's Dave Lloyd probably. It's got Lloyd there. But I can't see, you know, if he's not drawing one of his famous characters. See, that's a nice piece of artwork. The more you get to look at it. And so is that, to be fair. Very Image style in all this. You know, the torso, very Image style. But John Royal, don't know. That is quite awesome. That is, who is that? Gary Frank, maybe? Or Alan Davis? I'm trying to make out who that is. Interesting, but that's really nice. It's really nice, I think. Again, this is nice artwork. I don't know Mike Perkin, but I think this is nice. 2 minutes silence for the King. Very nice producer from the Inhumans as well. Yeah, so obviously a lot of tributes there. This is nice as well. That's nicely done, Mike Collins. You know, just some nice little tributes there to Kirby's passing. Very nice. Silver Thing. Obviously coming from the indie world, the underground side of the spectrum here. Again, all about Kirby. All about Kirby in that issue. Well, just one last one. And then and then that will be it, just to show how these used to be put together. You know, there's still another Jack Kirby tribute there. See, this is nice. I don't know who this is. Dave Roberts is that, but that's just nice. That's how, you know, Wonder Woman is one of those iconic ones, but I don't know, some modern artists just failed to get it right for some reason. I think there are less named, or names that you would recognise. Frank Quietly again, but Avatar, that Flex Mentallo, that series, mini-series, I think that was Vertigo, was mental beyond belief. Yeah, so you're not getting many of the heavy hitters now. Brian Talbot again. Hodgkins, I mean, that's quite nice, the Captain one. That's nice as well, to be fair. Not, you know, but I just think it's nice, a nice style is given to the thing. Yeah, I don't think there's many heavy hitters in this by this time. I suppose they're all the heavy hitters are in America, or their time, you know, they've got massive constraints on their time. That's a bit cheeky in more ways than one. Batman, that's, don't know why these 2 pages are suddenly rude. Punk Fiction, yeah. I think we will leave it there. I don't think there are many heavy hitters in this issue, to be fair. Like I say, probably all working in America, earning loads of dough. And yeah, well, if you've enjoyed that, jolly good, that's nice. If not, well, just thank, if not, then that's that. I suppose you'll be gone by now, but if you have stayed on this far, thank you for joining me through this little journey down memory lane. This is nice. It's a nice art style, gotta say. But like, you know, like I've just previously said, these aren't exactly, you know, John Royal, it was a previous piece of artwork that I said I liked. Looks like he was drawing for Marvel UK by the looks of it, in that certain style that had to be mimicked in the mid-90s. Right, well that's it. Oh, Mark Buckingham, finally, we'll leave it with Mark Buckingham in 1995. And well, for a second time, if you followed me this far, adios.